is making us £2,000 a month without literally any other costs whatsoever. No hassle, of course, no management.
We've actually got in some UK virtual assistant-based support. And it's a great system where they are able to take over our management software. I think it's fair to say it kind of blew the top off what our expectation was we could achieve. You know, your question was, did you think we would be here 3 years ago? Probably 3.5 years ago, totally not. But once we started looking at the process,
I suppose you want to see, in some ways, then how far we can, how far we can go. And we're loving it. We're enjoying it at the moment.
And you've really proven that, if you're prepared to focus and take action and put in the effort, you can completely change your lives. Hello and welcome to this latest episode of the Property Magic podcast, in which we're going to be talking about HMOs, management, and also the importance of mindset and how to build your self-belief. So I'm joined by Micheal and Laura Taylor. Hi guys.
Hi.
Great to have you here. And so we're going to talk a little bit about your journeys. So Laura, would you like to just tell everyone first of all, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a teacher. I work at a girls' school in Southampton. I teach English and one half of Parable Property.
Fantastic. And Micheal?
Yep, so I'm a doctor. I'm a GP. Been a doctor for 20 years, GP for 15 years. I've been a GP partner for many years. I help train GPs. I'm now doing a little bit of sessional work here and there.
So my dad was a GP. It's a great profession, a difficult profession, I think. What was the inspiration of you both to get into property?
Yeah, well, I that's probably it in a nutshell, what you've just said, really. I think, 15 years of being a doctor, I think 2019 was sat in my office, staring at the same four walls, thinking, can I do this for another 25 years? And the short answer was no, I can't. And I think lots of other little just bit of life, little bits and bobs just kind of play into that. But essentially I was thinking, okay, I need to replace my income. There's we have a mortgage to pay, etc.
Three expensive children.
Three very expensive children. And I don't think, for me, I'm not sure medicine necessarily, I've sort of gone as far as I can in many ways in my career, and it was time for something new.
And so how did you get started in property?
Yes, so, we've been chatting for a while, hadn't we? We've been chatting about property on and off, I guess, over the years.
Yes.
Never thought we could do it. Looked at the numbers and thought, doesn't make sense, can't afford to do it, not going to make us any money, not going to do it. And I was chatting to one of my good friends, John Woodman, one evening down the pub, and he actually gave me your book, which I read in probably a couple of evenings, gave it to you, you read it super fast.
And did that get you thinking slightly differently?
It really got us thinking.
I think it's fair to say it kind of blew the top off what our expectation was we could achieve.
Yeah, I think we just had no idea. So it absolutely sort of blew our minds a little bit as to what was possible in property. Then went on to Accelerator.
Yeah, a 3-day course.
3-day course.
Yeah, and how did you find that?
Yeah, that was great. We did it virtually.
Yeah, because that was during the COVID years, wasn't it really? So we weren't really doing physical events.
No, that's early 21.
Yeah.
And no, that's right. And again, it added a lot more meat onto the bones of the book. And again, really got us going, oh, wow, there is so much opportunity here that we just never knew was there. So I jumped in with both feet and signed up to Mastermind. And
so you've kind of been doing property for about 3 years now. And just, do you want to share with everyone the results you got up to that 3-year point?
Yeah. So Mastermind was an interesting year, wasn't it? So we came from no property experience whatsoever.
Yeah. Had no idea really what we were doing, just following the things that were happening in Mastermind.
Yeah. So we followed the process. We put an offer on a big block of flats. Like, honestly, just ridiculous in many ways. Looking back, that was talking about jumping in with both feet. And for various reasons, that was inconveniencing quite a long time. There was a fire in the basement, and that ended up not going through. But we had sent out landlord letters again, as suggested, and purchased an HMO off the back of that, and that kind of got us started.
Yeah.
Really.
So first property was the hardest, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But you're now up to 5.
Yep.
I'm saying you like big refurb, so you buy, refurbish, refinance, then rent out.
Yep, correct. So they're all 3-bed into 7-bed conversions.
Yeah.
So 3-bed terraces generally, and they're all 7-bed, all en suite. HMOs.
And those 7 beds should typically make about £2,000 profit a month after all expenses.
That's right.
That's right.
So in other words, 5 houses, that's over your £100,000 income.
Correct.
It is.
And 3 years ago, would you have thought you would be here by now in 3 years?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think that's the no, absolutely not. When we put our mind to something, like we believe in ourselves and we are there to get it done. So we don't really faff about.
Yeah, you're a very good action takers.
Yeah,
I've noticed. Yeah,
but yeah, no, to think that we have come this far, I think is especially with some of the false starts we had, and you know, the block of flats that we ended up we'd put some money into that, and it just and I can remember when it fell over. I can remember we were sitting down together and we're like, right, what are we doing here? There's a bit of chunk of money here that we've spent that is nothing's happening. What are we doing? And it was a real decision to like, no, this is the right path for us. We're gonna.
Yeah, it would have been very easy to give up then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. It was hugely disappointing. It was going to be a fantastic project, and to have it kind of just come out from underneath us was really disappointing. But it was a real conscious choice to go, no, we're going to carry on.
Yeah,
and I think that comes down to mindset to a certain extent, doesn't it? Because it's having the belief that this works and the confidence in yourselves to keep going and keep trusting the process, and the results will happen at some point.
Absolutely. I think, your question was, did you think we would be here 3 years ago? Probably 3.5 years ago. Totally not. But once we started looking at the process and seeing other people who had succeeded, we thought, actually, we can do this too. And that really increased our own self-belief. And it's so true that you put that action in and then your belief follows it, rather than the other way around.
Because sometimes I think people want to see results quickly, and when they don't happen quickly, they think, oh, this doesn't work. But actually, you've got to sow the seeds, keep going, not give up. And if you're doing the right stuff, you will get results.
Yes, we certainly for us, it never happens as quickly as we want it to. And, even looking back, and I'm always just like, oh, I wish that we were further down the line. I wish.
Even this week you said that.
Yeah, even this week. And that's something I'm kind of keep working on for myself, because actually, when you look at what we've achieved, I think we have achieved it pretty quickly.
But being in our 100k club now, where you're making over £100,000 a year profit before tax, but after all expenses.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about property is you could stop now. Yeah. And you'd still have that income every year for the rest of your lives. Yeah. Whereas I'm pretty sure if you stop turning up to school or stop turning up to surgery, guess what? The income stops, right?
They don't want to pay me if I don't come in.
Yeah. How unreasonable is that?
I know. I'm going to have to go in tomorrow.
But it's this work once, get paid forever this concept that I think a lot of people struggle to get their head around. But when you understand that, and that's the goal you're aiming for, hope to keep you motivated.
Well, that's right. And then that of course, then gives us our time back. And that's ultimately what this is all about.
Let's talk about that, because HMOs of the strategy you've chosen, there are lots of different strategies we teach, but it's a really good cash flow strategy. But one of the things that puts people off HMOs is the thought, I don't want to be managing all those tenants and all the regulations. And there are things you need to learn, obviously, but you have a great solution to that, don't you? I don't manage my HMOs, I have other people doing it for me, so I lose a bit of income because of that, but you've got a couple other things. So do you want to talk about your charity and then also the management system you're using?
Yeah, so of course, we have started self-managing. So right from the beginning, we said, right, we want to self-manage because we really want to understand what's involved and actually where the value will come when we then give it to someone else to manage for us. So we have self-managed for the last couple of years. How's that gone?
You could certainly do a few, can't you? But as you get more, it starts to get in the way of other things, doesn't it?
Definitely. And I remember listening to one of your podcasts before where you said, I was really wanted to know my tenants' names, and then that wore off pretty quickly. I'm definitely in that wore off quickly now.
Yeah, we feel that. But so I think so one of our properties we've just handed over to a social housing charity. Yeah. And we actually built it to spec for them. So that was our latest one. And we've given that to them for 5 years. Now, they are, this property is making us £2,000 a month without literally any other costs whatsoever. No hassle, of course, no management.
And you're providing much needed accommodation for local communities.
Correct. And actually, the property that we've given them, they are using it as their
like their showroom,
as their show house. Yeah, because they're so pleased with it, and it's lovely, and we've not gone overboard, but we've done it nicely, and we think everybody deserves to live in a nice property, really.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So we're really proud of that project actually, and pleased with that. But our other properties.
So our other properties, where we're managing, we've actually got in some UK virtual assistant-based support. Yeah. And it's a great system where they are able to take over our management software, and the tenants can contact them via the app. They deal with maintenance requests. They've got our tradespeople on virtual Rolodex, and so they can say, okay, I can see that the boiler needs a service, so they'll call the plumber in, and we don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that really is hands off, isn't it?
It's hands off, and that I think a huge thing for me is that it's headspace as well. I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, are the tenants going to contact me at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or 10, when I'm in the middle of a lesson, they're calling me, or if they are, 11 p.m. going, my window doesn't shut properly and there's a big storm.
So this has been a game changer for us, hasn't it? And I think everybody does it differently. We were quite sure that we didn't want to hand over our properties to a high street letting agent.
Yeah.
And
actually many of them don't really understand HMOs anyway, do
correct.
they?
No.
You've got to get specialists, and there are specialists, but they've got to know what to do.
Well, and we've got our own values and our own vision for what we want, how we want to do this, and so getting on board a UK-based virtual assistant, I mean, she's got 15 years worth of lettings experience, so she knows what she's doing. And she's very much managing our portfolio based on how we would do it and how we want to do it, and it's working well at the moment.
Yeah.
Great. So a key takeaway from this podcast is that you don't have to be doing all the work yourself. You've got to kind of do the upfront setting it up. But once that's done, hand it to someone else who knows what they're doing, look after it, and you just get the cash rolling in.
Yeah, and I think there are different ways of doing that, aren't there? So we talked about social housing. That's a great way of doing it. And you can use a high street, or we're using a virtual. So there's different ways of doing it. And
definitely. And so what's next for you guys?
So we are. So we're looking for probably 8 HMOs is probably our target.
And that will give you the income you kind of need.
Exactly. That will give us the income for, possibly 8, depends on interest rates, maybe 9, but that will give us both of our incomes, full stop, end of. So we're getting there. That's pretty exciting. Beyond that, certainly, I think we will then probably look to see what other strategies might take our fancy a little bit. We're I'm doing a little bit of coaching with you guys, and host Southampton Pin, and so just wanting to keep growing. I suppose we want to see in some ways then how far we can go, and we're loving it. We're enjoying it at the moment. It's exciting. There's so much opportunity out there.
I think this encouraged us to see and to really have an abundance mindset. So much of the world is really competitive and trying to, there is a poverty mindset, and you have to go and take that before someone else gets it. But when you start looking at all of the different strategies you can do in property, it's really exciting.
I think, so I've spent the last 10 years training GPs, and that's, I as being a GP for the last 15 years, I've watched so many of my colleagues sort of crawl towards their mid to late 50s. When can I retire? How early can I take retirement? How much money am I going to, and I suppose in some ways, like, my heart goes out to these guys a little bit as well. And you just think, actually, there is another option. There are other ways.
I think when people have a high paid job, which being a GP is a good paid job, right? It's a lot of hours, but it's very well paid. I think people sometimes have these golden handcuffs. And they think there's no way I can replace this high income. I've got to keep doing this to the day I die to maximise my pension. But actually there's an alternative, isn't there?
There is an alternative. And actually, now that I've left my partnership, actually, I'm doing a little bit of medicine here and there, and I'm really enjoying it again.
Is that because you're doing because you don't have to do it, because you want to do it?
That's right.
It's a very different.
It's a different
concept,
exactly. And I think there's just lots of healthcare professionals, lots of doctors, dentists, nurses out there in a similar boat. And if there is any way that we can just help inspire or help people along that journey, then we really want to do that as well.
Well, I think what we're going to do, we'll put a link below this. I think you're going to be doing some training with us, specifically people who are in the medical profession, to show them how they can do the similar kind of thing. So check out the link in the show notes for that. And I would just like to say, well done, guys. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I've said before, I think people in obviously medical and sometimes military profession, because you're used to following process and procedure, you kind of just get on and do it. And you are both action takers, and you've really proven that if you're prepared to focus and take action and put in the effort, you can completely change your lives in a relatively short period of time.
Absolutely true.
That's it. Just getting it done, isn't it? It's jumping with both feet. It's trusting the process. It's JFDIing it, and it's just it's just doing it, and it's getting it done.
Congratulations! Well, thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure it's been really inspiring to everyone watching and listening. So thanks so much. Until the next episode, remember to invest with knowledge, invest with skill, And of course, if you're watching the YouTube video, please like the video, come and comment below, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you're notified anytime these videos come out. And also click the link below if you want to hear more about the training we're doing with Micheal to help people in the medical profession to understand there is another route you can have to subsidize or even maybe replace your income one day. So thanks for watching. As ever, I encourage you to invest in knowledge, invest with skill. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,